Chapter 1. The Disappearance. On the evening of August 28th, 1934, Game Warden Art Teed heard 4 rifle shots from the black timber above his house in Mullen, Idaho. Teed did what wardens all over North America do. He rushed towards the gunfire. In warden parlance, it's called chasing shots, running towards unknown subjects that are quite likely in the middle of a criminal act involving firearms. In this instance, Teed knew a crime was in progress since deer season wouldn't open for another 2 months, and elk were nearly as scarce as penguins in the Silver Valley. The last elk track he'd seen was some 80 miles away on the North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene River, and there wouldn't be an open season for elk in his county for years, all because of trafficking meat to minors. Teed didn't need to be told his job was dangerous. In February 1926, just across the Idaho line, near Camden, Washington, Game Warden Edward Jerish heard shots one evening and chose to chase the gunfire. When he didn't return, his wife reported him missing to Sheriff Lyle Everett, and he and others started looking for the missing man in the darkness. Several hours later, they found Ed lying face down in the snow with a pool of cold blood around him and a bullet through his spine. Jerish was 43 years old. Tracks showed that 2 poachers had been following a wounded deer, and Warden Jerish had caught up to them. The sheriff, using his flashlight, found a fired .30-30 rifle casing that had melted into the snow. Both sets of tracks are made with cocked boots, the kind loggers wore with big spikes on the soles so they could walk on wet logs. The sheriff examined the tracks with his light and noted that each was unique and that they were missing cocks. The sheriff was a friend of Jerish's, and the lawman chose to stay with his body until first light. When he could see, he left the deputy with the body and started tracking the 2 criminals. He followed the tracks through mud and snow to a rail line where he found a railroad worker who had talked to 2 young men in the night who were carrying a rifle and seemed to be running for their lives. He continued following the track line to a house several miles away and arrested 18-year-old Everett Van Blaricom and his brother, 23-year-old Roland Van Blaricom, an ex-Marine.